Hey everybody, Sean here from BoredParacord. Today we are going to do a minimalist bracelet. Real easy to do. Might have a little bit more instruction than normal bracelet will, but not too bad. We're going to be using about 4 feet of cord. Right now I have Acid Midnight Blue, 550 cord, and then a single hole clip. And I haven't decided. I think I want to go with the red with this one today. Yeah, let's do red. We're going to use quite a few 1 foot sections of red. And it might actually be more like 18-inch sections, 4 of those. So we'll just get that out of the way for now. The first thing we want to do is, let's see. We're going to take this cord and cut it in half. So we'll have about 2 feet on each side. And then what we need to do is kind of measure. I'm just sealing up the ends here so that they don't fray on me. Alright, so we're going to take one cord here and put this single hole clip on here. And what we're doing is we need to make 2 loops of cord. So basically like this. One loop is going to go around one way on your wrist. So like this. And then the other loop, about the same size, will go around your wrist and have just a loop at one end. And then those 2 loops that you're creating are going to are going to lock onto each other. So what I need to do here is I want to measure. How do I want to do this? Let's see. Because I have to take into account the clasp here. And I think that's going to be good. So it's really hard not to show you how to do this without knowing what we're doing. I think I need it a little smaller than that, because these are going to, like I said, they're going to loop within each other. And what I'm doing is I'm putting this on my wrist, right where it would be, like as if it were right here. And then I'm looking at where this loop will fall. And I think that's a good spot. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut this right here. And then I'm going to fuse this together. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. So let's do this. We're just going to melt the end here. And then stick this other end to it. Actually, let's melt both ends here first. And then we can roll it so that it doesn't stick out too much. Oops, I caught fire there. Alright, let's stick those together. I want to wait for them to cool down just enough to where you can then grab this and roll it without it burning. And then you end up with something like that. That doesn't stick out very far. Alright, so there's one. Now, you kind of want to do the same thing again. Put the cord about here, and then we're just going to, well, actually, let's do it like I did before. So we'll put it in the middle of your wrist and wrap this way. And then you want to go halfway. And that's where we want to do our 2 cuts. And then we'll fuse this together. Get rid of these pieces. So we have our loop here. And we'll just fuse these 2 together. It's really hard to see the flame when I'm doing this. So I kind of have to guess where it's at. Now if you don't wait long enough and you go and try and roll that, you will burn the heck out of your fingers. You want to give it like 3 or 4 seconds and then go in and roll it together. Alright, so now we have 2 loops, and I want to show you what this is going to end up being. So you're going to stick one of the loops through each other like this, and then this other one's going to come up through here like that. So you're going to end up with a knot on one side of the bracelet like this. Then the back side of the bracelet's going to come around and clip in to the other end, just like that. And then you have your bracelet. But what we're going to do, so that this knot right here doesn't move, is we're going to do a little bit of whipping right here. So a little bit of red whipping with the microcord. And then we're going to do another one really close to the end of this. Right at the end, we're going to do some whipping right here. Also on this side, right here, so that we're left with just a little loop there. And then another section here. So we're going to have 4 spots. And the whipping does 2 things. Keeps the loop so that it's nice and small, but it also is going to hide your fuses. So we have a fuse there, and you just want to position these fuse sections in a spot where they're not going to be seen. So one of them will be right up against, here, let me zoom in a little bit here. One of them will be really close to right there. So what we'll do is we'll whip from one side over to the other side, and then you won't even see that. So let's start there, and then it'll be the same thing over here. What we're going to do is create a loop here for this hook to go through, and then our fuse section will be within the whipping there. So let's get started on that. So first thing is I want about 20 inches. I'd say that's probably good, and then we'll go from there. Base the next one off of, you know, how much we've used on this one. Just hit it real quick so it doesn't fray on you. And the whipping is simple. It's real easy to do. Let's start on this one. So what you want to do is run 1 cord underneath of what you're doing, and you want to have enough there to be able to pull on it. And then you're going to create a loop on the opposite end like that. So you basically have the small piece, it goes across, you know, the section that we're trying to cover, and then it comes back with the longer piece up here, and this longer piece is the one that we're going to whip with. Alright, so we know we're going to cover both of these cords, so I'm going to pull a little bit of this back because I don't want to go very far. I think we want to do, I don't know, let's just start and see what we end up with. So I don't know if you saw that, but what I did is I took my longer end right here and just started wrapping it. Let's give ourselves just a little more of a loop here, just in case. And all I'm doing is taking the long end and just wrapping it around. So now you're going over itself right here, just like that. And we're just wrapping it toward the other end, making sure that you not only cover the fused area, but you're also covering up both the red and the blue cords. And you don't have to pull too tight while you're doing this. You can tighten this up after you get to where you want it to go. And I would say that's probably good. Let's see how many wraps we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the 7th one, what we're going to do is go down through this loop. And that will lock it in for us. So once it's in the loop, you want to make sure that it's nice and tight. So what we're going to do is just kind of roll our fingers around a few times, making sure that you're staying over the fused section. And that's kind of the hard part too, is keeping everything kind of together, because it's not going to want to stay very well on the fuse section when you tighten it. Alright, so got that through there. It's nice and tight. So then you grab your original piece and you pull that slack of the of that loop out right there. And then you can really grab a hold of these and pull tight. And that should be good. That loop makes it so that when you pull it, it doesn't pull this cord all the way back through. So there's that one. And then you can go ahead and snip the ends. Which would be right. And you want to leave just enough on there so that you can melt it down and seal it in there so it doesn't come back out on you. So just a little bit. Just leave just a tiny bit on both ends. Then we can kind of fold this back. Melt this down. Just like that. And then press it in there so that it doesn't go anywhere. Just like that. Do the same thing here. So be really careful you don't burn everything else around it. I want to put just enough to where it just melts what you need it to melt. There we go. Just like that. And let's see, is that going to be enough of a loop? It is a loop, but it's not very much. Let me see if I can. Yep, I just pulled a little bit of slack out this way. So I was able to do that to get a little bit more of a loop there. Now, what we're going to do is put this back in here how we had it before. So it was like this. And I think what we need to do here is once it's tied like this, and I'll show you how to do this, you're going to take one end like this, and then you've got your other end. You're going to put one loop through the other, just like that. Now if I have this loop here, then the end of it comes up through that loop to give you kind of like a decorative sort of thing here. Now we're going to do the whipping while this is in the form of a knot, but I need to remember that this needs to be positioned in the correct spot over here before you tighten this. So I think, let's see, maybe back a little. Yep, right about there. And then we can go ahead and tighten this. Now once this is tight, I'm really going to pull on it nice and hard so that I can put my whipping around here. So I'll do one more thing of whipping, probably here and here, maybe, yeah, about right there and there. And then, so I'll show you how to do this one, and then what you'll end up doing on your own is this one and the one down here. And then you'll be all done. So these are pretty easy. I really didn't use, I used most of the cord. So 20 inches I would say would be a good amount. So I'm going to use that amount again. Go. Hit that real quick. And like I said, what you want to do is have a piece to pull on. So you're going to go past where you're whipping, and then you're going to create a loop that you end up going through and bringing the working end, all this extra cord here, all the way back this way, picking everything up. And if you've got a backside, which this is my backside here, then what you want to do is flip this over so that you're doing the whipping from the backside, because that's where your fuses are going to be and you don't want to really see those. Okay, so we have our loop here and we want to do the whipping about where my finger is. So grab your cord and just start going back towards, and you want to make sure that the first one kind of goes over top of the cord like this, because what will happen is this cord right here will want to slide around. Okay, so once you have that first one, then you can pinch everything right here, and it makes it really easy. If you just hold it, then you don't have to really tighten it. So it was 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think on the 7th one is when I went through. Just like that. Okay, so just kind of draw that up a little. And And then you're going to pull your slack out with this pull line, just like that. And this one's already pretty tight because I was holding it really tight when I did it. All right, yep, that looks pretty good. So then just go ahead and pull that a little more tight. You don't want to pull so tight that it kind of like squishes this together. You want it to look nice and even all the way around. And this is the back side, remember, so you're only going to see this, just like that. All right, so cut this guy. And then once I get these melted in here, I am going to break away, finish this up, and then come back and show you how to finish everything. I mean, really, once you're done doing the whipping, you're done. Go. And you want to make sure these are nice and smooth too, because these are the parts that are going to be against your skin, or whoever's skin it is that you're making this for. There we go. Fuse that. So you have one side here, just like that. This is going to wrap around like that, clip in over there, and have this kind of knot here, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do these other two whips over here and do this one here, and then I will be back to show you the final product. All right, so as you can see, we are done. We got all the whipping done. Looks pretty good. There was a spot on both sides where the cord was fused and it kind of opened up a little bit right there. It's really hard to get away from that, and that's because the fuse section is hard. But you can make it work. It'll still look good once you're wearing it. All the fuse pieces, just make sure you try to keep all the fuse sections. This is the back side. And it's having trouble focusing. There we go. There's the back side of that one, and that one, and that one. Another thing I found is that if you do it without fusing the whips, or if you don't fuse it to the actual cord, you can move these, which is giving me another idea for another video. So, cool thing is you can move these, you can kind of space these wherever you want. I think that looks pretty good. The bracelet would then go this way, clip in, and then you have your final bracelet. Kind of nautical style bracelet. Gosh, I wish I knew what the name of this knot was. But there you have it. Hope you like this. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see here. I'm really trying hard to put out a video every week. I think I have for at least 6 months now. And I'll have everything that you see here. Plus, I think these pliers here, the lighter will be in the description below. But if you want the best service, go to our website, BoredParacord.com, where you can get everything you see here and make it yourself. So until next time, everyone, paracord on. Do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button to your left. There's other great videos all the time, and there's a few to the right side of the screen, and you can also buy Paracord at our site with the link at the bottom left. Thank you again for watching.